what did happen is that the FBI sent 40 agents in the days after the shooting to fan out in the neighborhood in Ferguson where the shooting happened. They interviewed 200 people, and they came back and they started to recreate what happened based on what they had, along with evidence that was given to them by the police department. And when they did that, they didn't come to a place where they could bring these charges. They didn't come to a place that showed that Mr. Wilson had set out to do this, had set out to go after someone based on their race.
Yeah, and that's no surprise to anybody who has been following this or has any common sense for that matter. Joining us now, David Swerdlick, who's been following it and does have common sense. I can't wait to hear his take on how the Justice Department will recommend, reportedly, that no civil rights charges be brought against Officer Darren Wilson in the Ferguson shooting of Michael Brown. Hello, David.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Always my pleasure. Okay, so what is your take on this? Let's assume the reports are accurate and that this does come to fruition.
Yeah, well, look, my take is this. I don't think this changes where we were and where we are with the story, Steve. I'm not surprised that they did not find the evidence they need to move forward with a federal civil rights case. I think it was right for Eric Holder's Justice Department to send all those FBI resources and to do a thorough investigation, and it was a good thing that they pursued this. And then I think also I can see where it comes out that they didn't find the evidence that they needed, which doesn't mean that there was nothing wrong done in this case. It just simply means that, you know, the federal officials, the FBI, Justice Department, looked into it and they didn't have enough to make the case that they would have brought forward. That's all. So
well,
we're still
they may have, but David, you know, it could also mean they had absolutely no evidence. I mean, in my view, the only reason this was done under any other attorney general, there's no way this would be done, and he did it for two reasons: because that's who he is, and secondly, to quell the rioters. But I mean, this was a legitimate shooting from the way. Let me just say, this was a legitimate shooting of a thug who attacked a cop. To even think that he set out to kill a black man that day was insane on its face.
See, Steve, this is where we diverge, right? Because I am fine with the Justice Department coming down, presumably, and saying, look, there's not enough evidence to proceed with the case. Okay, that's where it came down. But this idea that it was only Attorney General Holder and that no one else in that position would have brought this case, I think it would have been wrong for them not to thoroughly look into this at the federal level. But it's fine if they concluded that they've looked into it now and no case will proceed. Look, it's one thing. Look, I know that you and I have discussed this a bunch of times, Steve. I know where you come down on this. You know where I come down on this. We don't have to agree on the facts or what happened. And I have never said I know what happened because we didn't see what happened. But the idea that it's just open and shut, he was a thug who deserved to be gunned down, and that's that. There's no other wrinkles to it. I just can't go there with you on that one. That's it.
Well, he was a thug. I don't want to oversimplify it. He was a thug who had just robbed a store, attacked a cop, hit a cop, grabbed for the cop's gun. The gun went off. He ran from the cop and then charged the cop. So, I mean, I don't know how much more you could do. And you know, I don't say he deserved to be shot. I say it's legitimate that he was shot. But let's move on. I want you to hear what the president said in the State of the Union that really riled me and some others. Here it is.
We may have different takes on the events of Ferguson and New York. But surely we can understand a father who fears his son can't walk home without being harassed. And surely we can understand the wife who won't rest until the police officer she married walks through the front door at the end of his shift.
This is like, to me, equating, or I won't say the same thing, but the way he equates the Palestinians and Israelis. Israel responds to a terrorist attack, and he talks about both sides in the same way. You're telling me that a father, first of all, the statistics don't bear this out, that it'll happen. They're much more likely to get shot by a thug, but that a cop will harass a kid on the way home is equivalent to worrying about a police officer who's out there and he's your husband and you're worried that he's in danger? I mean, give me a break.
Look, Steve, first of all, in the State of the Union, that was the entire reference to the Ferguson issue, to the Black Lives Matter movement. There was no, that clip you played, that was it. There are people on the other side of the issue who wish he had spoken more about the Ferguson issue and about race relations. So that, for one thing, to me, that was a basic statement that he made, acknowledging where we've been in our politics for the last few weeks. In terms of what he said, I'm going to leave your Middle East analogy to the side and just talk about what he said. Look, we disagree on the specific instance of Ferguson and Michael Brown. There's no videotape of what happened between Michael Brown and Darren Wilson. I'll leave that alone. All these other cases and all the experiences of men of color in this country, there is a legitimate issue about interactions.
David, we'll pick up on that. We'll pick up on that. David Swerdlick, out of time. Thank you, sir. Fred Dicker's next. Don't go away.